Top of the hour of 9 to you, and welcome back to Rapid Dawn right here on Rapid TV. My name is Martha Alu.
And of course, my name is Victor. Okay, welcome back to the big conversation.
Yes, welcome back to the big conversation.
That's right.
Yes, here we get to talk about big issues. And for today, we're spotlighting Rivers State, even though somehow it has been on the news for the longest time.
That's right.
And this is looking like the dynamics for this particular game or whatever has shifted. You know, it used to be, this Statue of Liberty where one is up, one is
slanted.
exactly. So the where the power is at is gradually changing, particularly for these crises in Rivers State. Now, at its core, the Rivers State crisis is basically a post-election power struggle between Nyesom Wike, who is the former Rivers State governor, between 2015 to 2023, and he is now the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, and Siminalayi Fubara, who is the current governor of Rivers State. He was sworn in on the 29th of May in 2023, and he's Wike's former ally and protege. And the Rivers State House of Assembly was largely loyal to Wike. National political actors, including APC voices and the presidency, watching closely. Now, this crisis between in Rivers State is not just a PDP crisis, because at first it was just looking like, oh, the PDP does not have its house in order. Why are two people from the PDP? It is not just a PDP crisis. It is about control of political structure. It's about influence over state resources and about who truly owns Rivers State politics post 2023. In 2023, after the governor of Rivers State was sworn in, we started to see things turn from around October in same 2023, where we had one refusing to submit to the authority of another. And it is expected that when a governor is sworn in to office, he has the liberty to make decisions for the state.
Of course.
But once that ability to make those decisions are taken away from him because of his political father, his protege, because of his political father, I would say, then it's began to threaten his position as governor of Rivers State. And from October then, when the entire thing became public, we saw that 27 lawmakers who, of course, are supposed to be under Siminalayi Fubara were loyal to Wike. We started to see the matter between both parties degenerate to the extent that the Rivers State House of Assembly was caught fire. It was burnt. And right after that, we saw the governor of Rivers State say, you know what, let's pull it down because we suspect some level of concerns, safety concerns there. So it's been on and on and on between Nyesom Wike and the governor of Rivers State. And recently, we started to see that happen even more after the governor of Rivers State defected from the PDP to the APC, which of course is the reason for the shifting power dynamics that I spoke about when we started the show. But yes, this is basically the fundamentals of the crisis we experienced between both parties in Rivers State. And we'll be having the full of that conversation here at this 9 o'clock hour.
Very true. And of course, if you look at the whole situation in Rivers State, many times it makes you want to laugh. It brings that kind of worry as well. Because you know that Rivers State is a very important state, like I always tell you off air.
Every state is important.
Yeah, no doubt about that. But when it comes to political dynamics, Rivers State is a very important state for everyone. Any president who actually wants to win, definitely must have to win Rivers State as it is. And Rivers State has proven to be, again, an important state, basically. And that's why we've seen that anything politics that happens in Rivers State gets to have that national recognition. Now, bringing it back to the former governor of Rivers State and the current FCT minister, and Fubara. Do recall in 2023, when Wike was about to leave office, he single-handedly, according to reports as at the time, that he single-handedly picked out Fubara, to be the flag bearer of the PDP, and made sure, in fact, I was in Rivers State, for the early part of 2023, And I recall how Wike was moving from point A to point B. I mean, with Fubara. And this was for campaign reason. But the person who was doing the campaign at the time was Wike. He was the one speaking in every campaign platform for Fubara. In other words, he had so much belief, trust, and love for Fubara as at the time.
Is that what you call it? Because I refuse to call it belief and love.
Well,
he said he's his political son and his protege, and we know what godfatherism in politics is about. It's not about love.
Before you can actually adopt someone to be your son, political son, right? You have a certain level of love for that person. Yes, you
have a certain level of belief that they will be loyal to you.
You will
for godfatherism, I think it is completely different. Not love.
No, it is. Yes, that loyalty is there.
Yeah.
But you also have that love for the individual. Before you can put a full-time belief on the person, there's also a certain level of love that you must have for that particular individual. And I saw that Nyesom Wike in 2023 loved Sim Fubara, believed in Sim Fubara, and made sure that Sim Fubara actually became governor of Rivers State, despite every other thing that happened. In fact, as at the time in Rivers State, I was still in the media space, and we were asking questions. When do we get to hear the soon-to-be governor of Rivers State as at the time speak to us? How do we get to understand his personality as at the time? But we never really got to, hear him directly, except maybe one or very rare occasion that he eventually spoke. Now he won. Nyesom Wike became the FCT minister, and of course President Tinubu also won. Now there were also speculations that what caused the rift, between Nyesom Wike and Sim Fubara was due to an agreement, speculations, like we said, all of that. But these are all of the things that led to all of their back and forth. But let's dive into the conversation, just to get even clearer definitions on the recent happenings now of the political dynamics in Rivers State. Go ahead.
All right, welcome. Introduce our guest.
All right, our guest is the APC spokesperson in Rivers State, Mr. Darlington Nwauju. Mr. Darlington, good morning and thanks for being here with us. Hello, good morning.
Mr. Darlington, can you hear us? I guess the network is pretty poor.
Yeah.
Mr. Darlington, your network is very poor.
My first time with that.
Oh, can we cut out?
We might have to reconnect. We might have to reconnect with you again, because the network is quite poor at the moment. Let's get to reconnect with you again so we can have a proper conversation, please.
Please, can we try to reconnect with Mr. Darlington? Yes. All right. Well, we'll basically take up the conversation because you know why I kind of raised my brows when you spoke about, it was because Wike loved Fubara.
Yeah.
I don't think that for somebody that you campaigned that much for and you claimed that you liked such a person, you would fall out with that person 5 months. It was barely 5 months after Fubara took over the office in Rivers State as the governor. It was barely after 5 months that there was a fallout. And just like you were saying before we had Mr. Darlington come up, it was basically about the speculations, like you said, about the control of Rivers State resources. And at the time, we had reports that said Siminalayi Fubara was supposed to, based on the agreements that was supposed to remit some amount of money back to the former Rivers State governor and now the FCT minister. And speculations, of course, and the refusal of that is the reason that we experienced the antagonism between from the FCT minister, basically, because yes, we can hear you better, Mr. Darlington. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Yes, good morning. It's wonderful to be on your show this morning. You know, last year we tried to do it, but it didn't work out. So it's interesting. I'm happy to be on your platform this morning.
We're glad to have you. Glad to have you.
Thankfully, the politics in River State is still brewing up as much as possible. So it's a good time to still continue with the conversation.
Yes. Mr. Darlington, just so we get right into it, we want to know what your thoughts are about the current rift experienced between the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and the Governor of River State, Siminalayi Fubara. What do you make of this rift that has been on since 2023? I think it became public in October 2023. Up until 2026, we're still experiencing this. What do you make of this situation?
Well, I'll simply summarize the situation by saying that this is a clear drawback or danger on the excesses of godfatherism. That's on one hand. And then on the other hand, it shows clearly the dangers of narcissism, wherein one individual wants to be the only one, the only cock that crows, the only captain in the ship, the only one that calls the shots. And so these two adjectives can rightly, describe the situation or capture the situation in River State. On one hand, the excesses of God.
Mr. Darlington, I think the network is still very poor at this moment. We do hope that you can reconnect with us so we can have a smooth sail conversation.
Yeah, because definitely looking forward to this conversation and wanting to hear how this turns out, because I mean, we've had several conversations about the FCT minister and his continued fight for relevance within River State politics. You are handling the FCT. This is a responsibility that was given you by the president. Focus on your responsibility and forget about the politics of River State.
Well, that might be difficult for him.
It might be difficult,
especially because he's a River son. And something about being a former governor. And we've seen this thing play, not just in River State, in various other states as it is. The moment you are a former governor, it almost seems like you still have that control in your state. Because now there are speculations as well that the politics of Nigeria, especially this democratic politics that we play, sometimes does happen like it is what's the word, where you get to handpick some other person to be hereditary. So it sometimes seems like it is hereditary as it is, and many times we've seen these things play in various parts of the country, and that's why I say it might be difficult for him to concentrate only on the FCT, because even in recent times we heard him say that the FCT is not his state. River State is his state. Therefore, he even talked about the fact that he's going to be going home more often to River State as it is. Definitely, the moment he's done with his time or tenure as the FCT minister, he's going to get back home to River State, where is his primary state, where he's from, basically. So it's going to be quite difficult for him to, take away his eyes from the politics of River State, especially because there is still quite a lot of things that he could gain from River State. Well,
that's the problem. And before our guest went off, one thing he said is about the, did he say disadvantages, or these are the problems of godfatherism?
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to be interested in the politics of your state because you are from the state, which, I mean, every patriotic Nigerian is supposed to be concerned about the politics of your state. I mean, you are from a state, I'm from a state. We all are interested in what goes on, how our leaders are being elected, how the resources of the state is being managed, and who manages it, right? These are very important notes to pick. But when a person, this is beyond being interested in the political state, this is now wanting to control the affairs of the state. Because if you have 27 lawmakers loyal to you, they have been, remember, the president has tried to broker peace 2 times between this party. In 2023, I think I think it was in October, November 2023, and in 2025 as well. And in 2026, we are still seeing revisited or renewed attacks of words on the governor of River State. Now, the truth is, I have spoken about how the power dynamics have shifted, because take a look at it. Wike was appointed the FCT minister. He has been trying his best to, restructure the city. And of course, we give him credit for the major roads that he's been able to fix and those that he's still on right now. Even though his leadership here also has been questioned many times. He has been accused of land grabbing. He has been accused of illegally demolishing properties. He has been accused of so many things, allocating properties to his families. You know, a certain document was being put out about 3,000 hectares of land was allocated to his son. You know, you also have had those reports surface on the social space, questioning your leadership and questioning your ability to control the FCT. But you somehow think that you do a good job there and then you can't control what happens in Rivers State. Well, we don't know the agreement between both parties because again, remember, he's the godfather. In all of those, you have recounted that he spoke on all of those campaigns and press release, press conferences. He spoke on behalf of the governor of Rivers State right now. And we heard little to nothing from him. You get what I'm saying? But the guest is here. Let's go reconnect with him, and then we will keep up the conversation. Good morning again, Mr. Darlington. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Header, a twin challenge, and the challenges are: number one, the excesses or the drawbacks of godfatherism in Nigerian politics, and then secondly, the issues that has to do with narcissism. I want to explain briefly that in as much as it is impossible, practically impossible for you not to be drafted into the political feud by someone who has gone ahead of you, a more experienced person, and all that. There is virtually nobody in the political space that went there or climbed the ladder all by himself or all alone. It is always based on draftsmanship or based on recommendations. And so, for Governor Fubara to be recommended or be drafted in by the FCT minister does not now mean that Governor Fubara should serve as a placeholder for the FCT in the running of a third-term agenda in Rivers State. And I dare say that goes to show that the excesses, or those that the part of the excesses or the baggages or the luggages that goes with political godfatherism. You must have to, as a godfather, you must have to know where to draw the lines. You allow people to govern, you allow people to do their own stuff, you allow people to think and to serve the interests of the majority of the people. In fact, whatever decisions or opinions you hold, you are entitled to your opinions, you are entitled to making suggestions or recommendations, but the governor, the person sitting on that seat, is entitled to make the decisions. You allow the person to make decisions on behalf of the people of the state. And like Jeremy Bentham, the famous philosopher, will always say that whatever decision that you want to make, anything that will not be in the favor of the majority of the people should be jettisoned. And I think that the FCT minister should buy into, should read in between the lines and understand that he cannot, in fact, he has succeeded in overstepping his bounds, and the pushback is what we are now seeing. Then secondly, on the other hand, I talked about narcissism, wherein the FCT minister insists on being the only cock that crows. He wants to be in charge of the running of Rivers State, and at the same time running the FCT. How does this work, for God's sake? How does this work? You have plenty of work to do in the FCT. restoring the original master plan of the Federal Capital Territory, and dealing with the sanitary condition. I guess you all know, you are based in Abuja, the fact that the sanitary condition of that the FCT is not wonderful. It's not something that should make the headlines, and it has not made the headline for the best of reasons. And you also have security challenges to go with. So these are things that require that the person in the saddle as FCT minister should sit down and put his boots on the field and ensure that the FCT becomes a capital that is worth it, and not just in Nigeria per se, but in sub-Saharan Africa. So he has his job already cut out in the FCT. And so this obsession for the running or the management of Rivers State and the resources of the state leaves so much to be desired. Do not also forget that before his tenure ended in May 2023, he had already, as at October of 2022, he had already freely donated resources belonging to Rivers State, more than 2 billion naira in unsolicited charities, whether 700 million to Benue State, 500 million to Sokoto State, and you know, that was 300 million to wives of office holders in Lagos State. Unnecessary, irrelevant, charitable. To have somebody who is an accountant, somebody who is managing the resources of this state. Why don't you allow this person that you recommended? He came in highly recommended by your own very self. Why don't you allow him to work for the people of Rivers State? So that is where we are as of today, and that is the genesis of the crisis in the state.
All right. And very recently, whilst the back and forth was going on between Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, and of course the FCT minister, recently the governor defected to the APC, which of course is your party. And I heard you speak on one of the sister stations, and I think that was December 2025, and you said that the registration of the governor was an assault to the rule of law, therefore made it illegal. Those are your statements, correct?
No. I think you did not actually get what I said.
What was it you said? Because I could quote you specifically. Yeah. No, before you explain.
Before those were my words. Those were my words.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So explain that.
In communication, we have manifest meanings to word, and we have latent meanings. That is the what and the whys.
Okay.
Now, one thing is certain. That which is certain is that the governor has joined the All Progressive Congress.
Right.
And now I did explain clearly that the party has, according to our own very constitution, there are two routes that the governor can actually, explore in joining the All Progressive Congress. And this is number one, by going to get registered in his ward. And secondly, according to Article 13 of our party constitution, getting a waiver from the National Working Committee of our party. And on September the 16th, I had in fact made an open call on the governor. Before the lifting of the state of emergency on Rivers State, I had in fact called on the governor to join the All Progressive Congress. That is on record, because that interview went viral. I also made that interview with a sister station. And so 2 days before the lifting of the state of emergency, I had called on the governor to join the All Progressive Congress. And so in making the decision to join, the registration of the governor was done by somebody who we said, and we have been saying, that by the force of law, he is not recognized as chairman of the All Progressive Congress in Rivers State. And I guess, and I'm sure, that the National Working Committee of our great party took note of these complaints. And then internally, these issues are being handled. And then the governor now went a step further by visiting our national secretariat to officially present himself as a member of our party. And then the national secretary of our party handed him the constitution of our party. These things are still on record. So afterwards, I want to let you know that the governor's membership of our party has been consummated, as it were. And so that one is no longer an issue. I cannot no longer complain about the membership issue because his membership has been consummated, and that issue has been as it were been settled. It's settled. And as of today, the governor is not just a member of our party, but he is the leader of the All Progressive Congress in Rivers State.
Okay, Mr.
So
Darlington,
that is what it is.
If I do get you correctly, it was a problem at first, but it is now no longer a problem because, according to you, he has been consummated by your party, right?
Exactly. Okay. I said if you followed my explanation, I said I had already explained to the world that the governor should join the All Progressive Congress. And there were two options or two routes.
I got that. Let's not go over that again. Let's not go over that again. My question is, why does it seem as though, of course, the APC is the leading party here in Nigeria because, of course, the president was elected under the platform of the All Progressive Congress. Why does it seem as though the APC will not actively mediate against the crisis until a person becomes a part of the APC? Because take a look at this. The crisis in Rivers State has gone on for too long. I would say from 2023 to 2025, we had an extended conversation in the social space about the Rivers State crisis. And surprisingly, we continued in that train in 2026. But you see, what is different about 2026 is we have started to see political actors from the APC speak up for Siminalayi Fubara. And then I'm saying, APC, PDP, ADC, we are all citizens of the country Nigeria, right? So if anything is deemed as wrong, whether you are in PDP, APC, or ADC, it should be addressed by the government. People should come up to speak against some of the ills that have been found in the kind of politics that is played in Rivers State. But I think that the reverse is the case. People only speak when that person becomes a member of the party. Do you think that this is part of the problem? Okay.
Let me continue because I think you've made a sufficient point in the construction of your question. Now, let me say this: prior to the joining of the governors entering into the APC, we have issued countless statements. These things are still in, you can find them all over just by the click of the social media. If you click my name to APC statements on Rivers State issues, you will see countless statements, interviews that have been done by my very humble self on the state of affairs in Rivers State. We have never kept quiet, bordering on what is happening in Rivers State, because this is about our commonwealth. This is about our common humanity. This is about the interest of the people of Rivers.
I don't think you got me correctly, Mr. Darlington. Mr. Darlington, I don't think you got me correctly. I never said no statement. Hold on. I never said. Hold on. Let me finish up.
No, hold on.
I never said, Mr. Darlington. You didn't allow me finish up.
I am trying to say that it is a different kettle of fish.
Okay.
If the governor and the FCT minister are members of your political party, it is different the way you speak about the issue and the way you prognosticate, the way you attempt to resolve the issues will be different. Now the governor is a member of our political party. It will not be different. In our approach to the issues will not be different. We will not think of so resolving the problem once and for all.
So he has to be a member of your political party. I don't think Mr. Darlington, you have to hold on and you have to listen now, because you have been making certain points and you sound as though he has to be a member of your political party before the member is. Hold on. You said that. I'm quoting you now. You said, hold on, Mr. Darlington, can you let me finish? Can you let me finish, Mr. Darlington?
No,
I am quoting you based on what you have just said.
I am saying that
you have said.
You said. I am saying that
I get the point.
Conflict will be different when the people, the dramatic personnel, are members of your political party.
And that's what I'm still trying to address. That's what I'm still trying to address, Mr. Darlington.
That the FCC minister is not a member of the people of the All Progressive Congress and has no right to interfere in our internal affairs.
Mr. Darlington,
so that is the line of
Mr. Darlington, I am still asking you the same question.
When are members of your party, it is always different, the line of approach and
you are still saying the same thing. And you're still saying the same thing that I want to address now. So you have to let me speak, because we can't continue going back and forth like that. There are people watching, so they need to hear us clearly. So I'm saying you have recounted again that he was not a member of your party. And so you cannot exactly mediate in that matter as you would like to, because he's not a member of your party. And before now, you said now that he's a member of your party, you would be able to resolve the matter once and for all. And that got me to the question I asked. Does he have to be a member of your party before the matter is resolved once and for all? And if you got me correctly from the start of the question, I said PDP, APC, ADC, Labour Party, wherever you are, we are guided by a constitution, and our focus should not be what political party this person is. All political parties are supposed to follow the common good, or are supposed to fight for the common good of the country. So once a state is starting to experience some level of wrangling or difficulty, I don't think the right thing to do is to wait until the person becomes a member of your political party before the issue is resolved. And if that is the case, then I think that APC is trying to, buttress the point, or trying to even verify the claims that the public has made, that APC is trying to get everybody from every political party into the APC, and then there are allegations that you are trying to get a one-party state. Okay, so why do you have to wait for him to get to your political party before the matter is resolved once and for all? That's the question.
Now, I think that there may be some element of misunderstanding of the workings of political parties. I just drew your attention to the statement made by the national secretary of our party.
Okay.
Now, a non-member of our political party has no right to interfere in the internal workings of the All Progressive Congress.
Okay.
So also, we in the All Progressive Congress cannot issue threats or directives to the People's Democratic Party or any other political party for that matter on how to manage their internal affairs. This is a democracy, for crying out loud. And people have the right to ventilate within the democratic space. And every party has got a constitution. And so you do not expect the All Progressive Congress to start calling together PDP members for meetings. It is strange.
So because their constitution allows for one to be, does their constitution allow for one to be bullied?
Hold on. Please hold on. I said, as a political party, you can't see the chairman of APC calling PDP members to his office to discuss over issues bordering on their own political party. Now, the Mr. President, as father of the nation, has intervened twice in order to resolve these issues. And so he acted as father of the nation. The others were purely apolitical, if you'd like to know. And so But as of today, the governor is not a member of our political party. And that was why I said that the approach to this issue will not be different. The tactics of following or pursuing this course of action will not be different, because now being a member of our political party, he will now have access to advice on our own end on how to resolve these issues.
We're still
That's
saying
what I'm trying to
the
refer to.
We're still saying the same thing. We're still saying the same thing.
Darlington, let me ask you this question, because you've talked about the fact that right now, once they're now that the governor is in APC, now you have a different approach to tackling the issue as it is. In 2023, was Nyesom Wike working for the APC? Did you get my question, Mr. Darlington?
Now, let me to answer that question.
No, it's a yes or
I
no.
heard your question. There are several individuals.
No. Hold on, Mr. Darlington.
No, it is not.
Yes.
No. It is not a closed-ended
Yes
question. No.
Or no
that question is not be structured in such a way that you push me.
All right.
Oh no, I think we still have issues with the network.
Yeah.
Can you
hold on to your thought? Just hold on to your thought, please.
Okay.
Mr. Darlington, just hold on to your thought, please.
All right.
Because the network is still fluctuating.
Exactly.
Let's go on the break. Let's go on the quick break. When we come back, we'll dive into the conversation better, please. Just hold on with us. Of course, it is the big conversation. We have been talking with APC spokesperson, River State, Darlington Nwauju. Mr. Darlington, once again, thank you for being part of the conversation with us this morning. Hello, Mr. Darlington, are you here with us?
Network seems to be frustrating this conversation today.
Okay,
Mr. Darlington is back. Welcome. It's good to have you.
Thank you. All right. So before we went on that break, we did tell you that the network was fluctuating, so we didn't get to get your answer on the question that I asked you. And my question to you directly was, in 2023, was the FCT minister then working for the APC?
Now, and I tried offering an answer. I said that the FCT minister supported the Mr. President's candidature as a presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, just like several other non-APC members supported Mr. President. Several non-governmental organizations, several CSOs, through support through their hearts or through their support behind the candidature of Mr. President. In fact, there is no way possible that just members of the All Progressive Congress would have elected or voted for the president. That is not possible.
Now, there's a difference to that, Mr. Darlington.
Story of support from outside of the political party.
Why we understand
this is normal.
Why we understand that there's a difference to that. This was the former governor of River State, a PDP key player, in 2023 as at the time, and he threw his weight to the presidential candidate of the APC as at the time. And there were also speculations that he also worked with some members of the APC as at the time to ensure the victory of the APC in River State. So again, to you, was the former governor of River State, now the current FCC minister of River State, was he working with the APC in 2023 for the victory of the APC candidate?
I want to answer you this way. The Anambra governor, who is a member of the APGA, the All Progressive Grand Alliance Party, did he support Mr. President's election? Did he work for Mr. President's election? And was the ministerial slot for Anambra State ceded to APGA? The answer is yes. So that was why I said the FCC minister, just like other persons, and I've given you a live example. Professor Soludo supported the candidature of Mr. President.
Yes, what you've done, you're giving me examples.
No, Mr. Darlington. And that was why the ministerial slot was ceded to APGA in Anambra State.
No doubt. Mr. Darlington, what you're giving me...
the emergence of Mrs. Ojuku as Mrs. Bianco Ojuku.
Yes, as minister. But what you're doing right now is that you're giving me... I do understand you, but you need to also give me an answer, because now when you ask the question, hold on.
No. Of the deputy minister to look to sound I don't know.
But you went down to Anambra State. No. Get my point. Get my point. Because you asked a rhetorical question as well, and you answered it when you traveled down to Anambra State and asked if Charles Soludo supported the president. Of course, you came out and you said yes. Now I'm asking you again, because you give me examples. You've not answered my question. Was the FCT minister working with the APC, in 2023 as against now the PDP? Yes or no?
I said he supported Mr. President. He supported. He has never been a member of the APC, so I've given you an answer. Okay. He supported.
Let's move on.
Let's move on from that, Mr. Darlington. Now, historically, River State has experienced strongman politics, and I'm talking about that between Amechi and Orderly, and these are the major examples. And now we're seeing between Fubara and Nyesom Wike. Now, what structures do you think needs to be put in place to ensure that there's a proper structure in the politics of River State? Because we experience time and again the power tussle between godfathers and their proteges. What structures do you think need to be put in place to address this, particularly for River State?
Now, when we talk about godfathers and their proteges, we have never had it this low. We have never had it this low. And I do not think that the Wike example is an example that should be that exemplifies a democracy or democratic practice or ethos. I do not think that it is worthy of being copied. And it is akin to the Amala and the Wedu politics that we saw exhibited by the late strongman of Ibadan politics, the late Chief Adedibu. That sort of politics of brigandage, politics of thuggery, politics of anything goes. I do not think it's an example that anybody should copy. So if you want to talk of putting together structures and all that, the structure comes with the level of education, the level of enlightenment of the people, of the electorate. Because as it were, no leader falls from the sky. Leaders come from amongst the people. And so you must have a well-enlightened, well-educated electorate that can ensure that they do not think of rice and stew. They do not think of what to eat today and then throw away fritter away their future. The future is much more important than when people share whatever they have to offer in order for you to exchange your votes or support to them. And so I do not think at all that we should even mention this man's example as a good example when you talk politics of proteges and godfathers.
Okay, so now that you have established that it is not a commendable kind of politics that is being played, and I'll just try to reiterate what my colleague has said here, made mention of the fact that if he's not playing that kind of politics that is in tandem with the democracy of Nigeria, why is he still serving in the APC government? That's one. And then finally, I'll ask you, you said that the president is charged with the responsibility of intervening in matters like this, which I agree with. He has intervened severally. I think 2 times he has called for a peace meeting to broker peace between both the FCT minister and the governor of River State. And 2 times the president has called for this meeting. He has tried to broker peace. All 2 times he was not, that meeting was not regarded.
Yeah.
Because as a matter of fact, if that meeting was regarded, we would not see a continued lag of the crisis between both Rivers State Governor and the FCT Minister. In your opinion, and as an analyst, what do you think should be done to completely lay the matter to rest? Because it's been on for too long, and this is gradually becoming something that looks like one person is insubordinate and there's no punishment whatsoever or repercussion for his actions for acting against the democracy of a country.
Now, let me say this clearly. I would prefer to take to give answers from the last question. Mr. President, when you are dealing with full-grown adults, you cannot use the horse whip. You cannot point a gun to their head to enforce whatever agreement or discussion. These are things that should be consensual as well. And I dare say that as full-grown adults, you cannot suffocate their socio-psychological build-up or structures at this level of their development. People are fully developed, their environment, the trainings they've got, and their families have molded them to who they are today. And so you do not expect Mr. President to now whip whatever thoughts or ideas that he has or decisions into full-grown adults. So it's difficult for you to now force people to do what they do not originally intend doing. You can only discuss with them, you can only share your ideas, possible solutions. It has nothing to do, because do not forget that the office of governor is independent.
Independent of the Constitution. Is it? But it's not independent of the Constitution.
I said it's independent of the office of the president.
But please. It is not independent of the Constitution. That's what I'm trying to say.
Both offices are creations of the Constitution of the Federal Republic. And so one is not subservient to the other. You must have to understand all this. And so the president's role will always be advisories, to offer advisories as a more experienced politician, as an elder statesman. Because if the president were not to be president of Nigeria, he qualifies as an elder statesman, given the several political battles he's fought and the pushbacks, the civil society participation that he engaged in pushing out the military. So he has earned his respect and regard in terms of contribution to the business of the Nigerian. So we must have to understand.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it this morning.
This is,
of course, we'll be speaking with Darlington Nwauju, the Rivers State APC spokesperson. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
All right, bye for now.
Well,
quite interesting conversation, if you ask me.
Please, what are your thoughts? I mean...
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that the crisis in Rivers State, political crisis in Rivers State is resolved, basically. Recently, we've seen the FCT minister moving from one community, one local government area to another, speaking to various local government leaders as it is. But I really want to see an end to all of these back and forth, when it comes to Rivers State politics. And but again, I don't think it's ending anytime soon. In as much as I want to see it end, I don't also see it ending anytime soon.
Why so?
Because the both parties are not ready to shoot their swords.
What I don't understand in all of this is we had you listened to what he said at the last time. He reiterated. In fact, the question we asked before we went on that break, he brought about the question because of the things that he said. True. Which I think it wasn't done justice to. The answer was not given properly, right? Now, he sounds as though oh, the president has spoken to them. They don't want to do anything about it. There's nothing any other person can do anything about. Yes, I know that the office of the president and the office of the governor, they're two separate offices, and according to him, one is not subservient to the other. But both of these offices are subject to the dictates of the Constitution. We are not a lawless country. This sounds as though we are practicing a politics of lawlessness, where anybody does what they want without repercussion. Godfatherism. I know, you know, while we have the conversations from a very realistic point, and we have the conversation based on the reality of our politics here in Nigeria. However we want to look at it, we see that there's a dysfunction in the kind of politics that is played in Rivers State. Who is to be called to mediate or to ensure that Rivers State politics is restored to law and order? Because if you say the party's activities will be carried out and cannot be questioned, does that mean that whatever political party comes on board and whatever it decides will be that will be run with? You see, he has also pointed out by himself that the kind of politics that is played by the Rivers State governor is not a commendable one. Yet he serves under the government of the APC. So let's say that the APC knows what to do. Let's say that the APC plays a more coordinated kind of politics. How do you have an uncoordinated kind of person that has time and again proven insubordinate, you know, and has played little to no regard for the Constitution? How is such a person serving under your cabinet? It says a lot about you and the kind of politics that you play as well. But I think this is where we're going to wrap up the conversation this morning for these political power struggle between Wike versus Fubara. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And just to remind you, we are active across social media platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, Twitter, which is now X. It is at Rapid TV. And on our YouTube page, it is at Official Rapid TV, where you can rewatch all of our episodes. Now, our website allows you to connect with us from anywhere in the world on our live programs. It is www.rbnradiotv.com. My name is Martha Alu.
And of course, my name is Victor. Okay, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.